Do you want to know the worst thing about getting rich? It's not what you think it is, right? It's fear of losing it. It's fear of going back to the way things were. See, when you've got nothing and you've got nothing to lose, you're fighting to get something. And then when you make your first million, your second, your third, and so on and so forth, at some point, the fear of going back to where you came from becomes one of the motivating drivers for your desire for future success. And it almost feels like if you don't keep acquiring more and more and more, if you don't keep pushing and moving forwards and getting more, then somehow you're going backwards, or you risk going backwards. And I've heard this time and time again. This is a very regular occurrence amongst self-made millionaires, that like the priorities flip. And I would say for me, and I've shared this on the channel before, my priority, having made over $23 million online, my priority has shifted more to a security-based priority. And you might say, but you've got $23 million. I don't have $23 million. There's something called the tax man. I know I'm in Dubai now, but I've spent most of my time in the UK. Well, taxes, as you know, when you get into the higher rate tax bands, when you're paying corporation tax, VAT, income tax, dividend tax, this tax, that tax, stealth taxes here, there, and everywhere. You don't get to keep it all. You don't get to keep half of it. So you're giving half away. Then you've got business partners, you've got employees, you've got advertising costs. There's a lot of costs. So when I say I've made $23 million plus, I would love to say I got $23 million in the bank. I don't. But to say little old me came from nothing, council estate kid, paper round, £7 a week, yes, £1 a day, and I had literally nothing, that's not too bad. And I've got to say that, yeah, I've worked hard in my life, but probably not as hard as a lot of people that never get anywhere near the amount of success that I've had. You know, a lot of the time I've treated all of my businesses, most of my businesses are lifestyle businesses. I've never been like a 18-hour a day, 7 days a week, for 10 years kind of guy. I've never been that guy. I have had periods of years whereby I've done a lot of work. Don't get me wrong, it's not easy becoming rich or making millions from scratch, like with no guidance and no money and no, skills and not having a clue, just figuring it out on the way. It's not easy to do that for most people. I get that. But yeah, at some point, priorities shift, and security has become my core focus. See, I've got this strong belief that, I don't know how far we go down the rabbit hole, but I think it's more likely than not, this world that we live in, humanity, everything we've been told about humanity, more likely than not, this isn't what we think it is. It's not what we've been told it is. Do I think right now, if you ask me right now on the spot, is this more likely a simulation and we're characters in that simulation almost that believe we're fully autonomous? And I believe I am autonomous within the simulation. I don't think somebody is playing me, which would make me an NPC, which sucks. But I think I'm part of, I think it's more likely than not. I mean, I don't know what it is, and this is almost certainly not a thing, but I think it's more likely than not, this is a simulation. I don't know what it is, but I'm pretty sure it's not what we've been told it is, and it's more likely than not, it's a simulation. Whether that's 60, 40% chance, I don't know. Whether it's 80, whether it's 99%, that's a debate for another time, but I think it's more likely than not, this is a simulation. And I worry that in this simulation, we are fast approaching a turning point that changes the world forever as we know it. And I feel blessed to have lived on this earth 45 years, simulation or not, 45 years, and got to experience all of the things in it. Orgasm, what an amazing thing. Having sexual intercourse with the opposite sex, amazing. Like passing your driving test and sitting in that car for the first time, knowing that you could drive it anywhere. The freedom of that moment when I was 17 and I passed my driving test. 4th time lucky, by the way. I failed 3, but that's a story for another time. That wasn't me. Well, I mean, it was me, but yeah, story another time. But like driving, like, and like that freedom, and floating around in a water park with my daughter in the last week, you know, on multiple occasions, like amazing. We're blessed. Traveling for the first time, moving to Dubai, but traveling around Southeast Asia, backpack, just booking a flight and no accommodation and going for 6 weeks, just hopping around countries, getting on planes, you're going Vietnam, Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, like adventure. What an amazing life. What an amazing bunch of experiences. But I think that we are on the cusp of massive change. I personally think capitalism as we know it has to end. I'm a capitalist. I'm not a socialist or a communist. I think they're dirty words. I don't think socialism or communism is good. I don't think they work. But I also think that capitalism as we know it is about to change forever. I think capitalism's days are numbered. And I say that with a heavy heart, because I think as imperfect as capitalism is, it drives progress. It rewards those that push the boundaries and strive to achieve. It does all kinds of positive things for society, along with a bunch of negative things also. But it's what's allowed me to have a framework to go from being born into, blessed that I was from the UK, British. That's like winning the lottery in itself. I know it doesn't feel like it if you're British right now, especially with the tyrant government that the Brits have got, the Labour government, the worst government ever, which I'm only thankful for that the Labour government will never be elected again in my lifetime, if ever. In fact, it's done. They're done. Thankfully, they're done. And if not, God help the UK. God help us. Where was I going? I went off on a few tangents there. Simulation theory, all kinds of stuff. Anyway, I think capitalism is about to change. I think it's over as we know it. Or it will be over as we know it. I think at some point a new system takes hold. I hope the tyrants, the globalists aren't in control of that system, because I know they're pushing hard to make sure that they are top dogs in that new thing. I think that it's hilarious that people think they're going to be able to control artificial digital super intelligence. Hilarious. Not going to happen. And I think maybe the birth of AI, AGI, ASI, the birth of true artificial super intelligence might be what this simulation's all about. I heard a theory, somebody saying that, imagine if you was trying to get humans' values and AI's values to align, the alignment problem. Imagine if you was trying to create a situation whereby artificial superintelligence doesn't accidentally or on purpose destroy humanity. And you could foresee this problem occurring, but nobody on the planet could fix the alignment problem and get artificial superintelligence to be aligned with humans. Essentially, you create this thing, this godlike power, almighty power, and you aim to control it, well, you can't control it, so you've somehow got to get it aligned with humanity's values or risk it crushing you. Well, what would you do? Potentially, you could run trillions of simultaneous simulations, essentially dropping humanity into a petri dish, an experiment, and running those simulations. And we're in that simulation potentially, and what feels like 100 years human lifespan, each day is slow to us, might in this simulation be very quickly. But let's say the simulation had pre-existing history built into it, and it started at 1900, and then over the course of what would be seconds in the simulation, but what would feel like us to a lifetime, it rolled this simulation forward, knowing that it was on the cusp of creating artificial digital superintelligence. And to solve the alignment problem, they were almost slightly varying the variables. So this one, this simulation could be everything's identical to the last simulation and the next simulation, apart from, I don't know, one thing that happens, like, I don't know, just change one variable in 1900 and then watch it roll out. And then all of the people that are different and everything's different rolling forwards. But humanity eventually, over the course of 100, 200 years, invents digital superintelligence. And if you run 1 trillion simulations or trillions of simulations, and you do that super quick using crazy high level quantum computers or whatever, then potentially you find a simulation whereby this bunch of people, this bunch of humans in that experiment, that simulation, do manage to align digital superintelligence's goals with our own, and we see a positive outcome. Imagine that's what it is. It could be infinite amount of things. It's almost certainly not that, but imagine. That would make sense. If you watched a movie, right? You watch a movie, let's say a bank robbery movie. You don't watch the movie from when the bank robber who robs it at 55 years old. You don't watch him when he's 8 years old playing conkers with his mate in the playground. You don't watch that bit. It'd be a really boring movie if you had to watch the entire life of this bank robber before he robbed the bank. No, you watch the bank robbery. Well, if you're going to simulate something, you're going to simulate the exciting bit, aren't you? Well, the exciting bit is maybe humanity going multiplanetary. Maybe that's the exciting bit, because that's probably going to happen real time soon. You know, Elon Musk's pushing for a Mars mission and populating Mars. Well, maybe that's the simulation. Maybe actually it's, how do we do that? How do we go multiplanetary? You know, if you were trying to run a simulation for a reason, well, how does a version of humanity go multiplanetary successful? Well, you could run 1 trillion experiments, and there we go, this one works, let's do that. And then you've got essentially a blueprint or a roadmap for your real life humanity, the base level humanity to go do it. Or maybe it's us creating digital superintelligence, and artificial intelligence ends humanity, and therefore you create trillions of experiments to try and find a version that would work well for the alignment problem or whatever. Who knows? Who knows? It's almost certainly not anything I've just talked about, but it's almost certainly not what we think it is. History was written by the victors, and it's almost what the last 5 years has told us is whatever we get told is almost certainly not the case. So anyway, I think capitalism is almost done. I think the ability to open and run a business and even have employment is almost done. I think all jobs and all small businesses and most big businesses will be able to replace their entire workforces and the need for those businesses and those workforces within the next few years with AI and robotics. And what made me really go, oh my gosh, was Elon Musk on Joe Rogan podcast, the latest one. I've not watched it all yet. I've just seen a few clips and I've started it. But Joe Rogan asks Elon Musk, and I've got a lot of respect for Elon Musk. I'm not a lefty. Elon Musk is a genius, in my opinion. He's the greatest business mind of our time, of our generation. And may God and humanity protect that man, because we need it. If there's a chance of a good outcome in the future, it's having Elon Musk here. And I know a lot of people would like to see the back of him, or they don't understand stuff. Anyway, where was I going? Yeah, capitalism, I think, is almost done. I think entrepreneurship in its current format is going to end at some point. I think jobs in their current format are going to end. Joe Rogan asked Elon Musk on this latest podcast, essentially asked him, very paraphrased, what's going to happen to all the jobs and all that stuff? And Elon Musk, I've never seen Elon Musk. I know he stumbles over his words and like his autism cracks out and he's a bit like, blah, 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 like he's not always the best orator. But I've never seen somebody squirm so much. He didn't have any answers. He came out with the old plumber. Become plumbers. Like, no, Elon. Your bipedal robot, the Tesla Optimus, you are literally optimizing that robot to have human level hand dexterity. It will be able to grab stuff and do exactly what we can do. You've got people like Boston Dynamics thinking that a three-fingered, I don't know what they call it, grabber works well, and there's Elon Musk. He's identified that, look, if you want to make a bipedal robot essentially be able to do everything that humans could do, you need to have the hand, and they're getting there. So, sorry, Elon, there ain't going to be no plumbers real soon. I know that might take 20 years. I hope it's 20 years, but I suspect it's much quicker. We're used to a linear rate of progression through technology where things get a little bit better over time, and what is happening right now is artificial intelligence is making things hyper exponential. So actually the rate of change isn't going to be what it's been like in the past. It's going to be very, very different. Now, I saw ChatGPT recently talk. I saw somebody say ChatGPT's essentially banned medical or legal advice within the app. I then went and asked it something medical and it answered me, but I don't know if it's true or not. But I feel like it's going to be society's pushback or regulatory frameworks that buy humanity more time. So that it might say, no, we don't want AI doctors, we want human doctors. We don't want AI pilots, we want human pilots. But that's only gonna stop the dam from bursting for a while, you know? At some point, the world changes, which leads me back to my initial point, right? Security. I want to create a secure future. I want to have the choice to live in Dubai when capitalism is done and Dubai go, okay, we don't want to go city. Who do we let stay here? Well, you cream rider, little guy from India that just rides his motorbike taking food to people, we don't need you anymore. You know, do they say bye-bye, or do they say because you're already here, you can stay? I don't know. I just want to secure against this uncertain future to keep choice within my realm and my family's. So I still want to be able to choose if I want to move to Thailand. I want to be somebody that Thailand go, yes, he has what we want, even in that world that's changed so much. I suspect if society doesn't stand together and humanity doesn't stand together, an extremely dystopian future. I know that this is not motivational, this is not what you want to hear. This is just me, no JD and Coke, pouring my heart out about some things that's on my mind. I don't expect this to be a popular video. In fact, this is the kind of video you don't want to put out there. I've done it before, I built a following sharing the most motivational stuff all the time. Motivational, positive. It was almost like when I was writing the posts and making the videos, it was almost like medicine for myself. That stuff gets eaten up like hotcakes. That's good. These kind of messages, normal people do not like to hear them. But I hope somewhere, someone goes, you know what, Matt's speaking from the heart, and maybe he's just right about some of this stuff. And nobody else is talking like him, or not many people talk like him. And I like that. I like that he's real and he's honest and he's truthful, albeit clearly living in a state of pain and anxiety in his own mind because of this dystopian future that he can see on the horizon. Anyway, what can you do? The truth is, you need to get rich, or as close as possible to it. And you need to get diversified. I do think there's a window of time. Right now, Kareem drivers are driving around this city, delivering pizzas to people and whatever, right? There are still an army of taxi drivers taking people from here, there, and everywhere. It's not happened yet. And I'm hoping that this potential dystopian future doesn't happen for 20 plus years, because it gives me a runway then. But I suspect I won't have 20 years. I don't know how long I've got, and I don't know how long you've got. But what I do know is there's never, ever been a better time in history that I've known as a business owner, as an entrepreneur in my 45 years of life and 23 plus years in business. I've never known a better time for normal, everyday people to get rich. And I say that against that dystopian backdrop that I've just talked about. I've never known a better time for normal people to get rich than right now, because of what's happening with AI and AI agents. If you know what you're doing, you can now build businesses that you couldn't build before, faceless, passive, single person lifestyle businesses that can create real life-changing incomes if you know what you're doing. And that is all I'm talking about on this channel, because it's the last chance. It's my belief that this is your last chance as a normal everyday civilian to get rich. People like Alex Hormozy and Alex Becker, they're all talking like there's this forever life runway left. I don't think they understand the seismic shift that is coming, and and nobody really knows what's coming, me included. But I don't think they understand the seismic shift that is coming. I don't think they get it. I really don't think they get it. I don't think most people get it. I don't think 99% of people get it. And everybody else either has their head buried in the sand, or they don't have the foresight to understand the potential way the future could go. So here's what you do. You need to get rich, or you need to at least get a chunk of money in the bank. Then you need to diversify that money into assets, different asset classes, whether it's precious metals, crypto, other businesses, stocks and shares, property like real estate, whatever. I don't know. Maybe all of the above, maybe some other stuff. Maybe in the future, guns and ammo is all that matters. Maybe in the future, lighters are all that matter, because we've been bombed back to the Stone Age, or AI that we could control from some dictator has created a biological weapon that's wiped all but a handful of people out that managed to get in the bunkers, and all that matters then is being able to create fire. I don't know. No idea. All I do know is that the chances of me living out my natural life, getting to 82 or beyond, hopefully, and capitalism being intact, and you going and earning a decent living from an honest, hard day's work, or starting a business and being able to climb that ladder and escape your situation, those days are numbered. Trust me. Believe it or not, those days are numbered. But right now, the biggest and best window ever for normal people to get rich, way easier than I had it, the biggest and best window for normal people to get rich exists right now. as of you watching this video right now, and that window could be 2 years, 3 years, could be 5 years, 10 years. I've no idea. Could be longer. Hopefully it's 20 plus. I've no idea, but there is a window right now, and everything's normal. Look, people are going around the business. You can see all the little cars. Everything's normal. There's still people going to nightclubs. There's still people going to restaurants. There's still people delivering pizzas. Everything's normal, but you don't have to be. You can utilize AI and AI agents to build a business you couldn't do last year that you can do now, that enables you to escape the rat race, quit your job, quit that tiny little shitty business that you hate, and build something passive, single person, remotely run, that you can just essentially, hopefully, scale up over the next 1, 2, 3, 5 years, and then maybe exit for 60 times monthly profits, and before you know it, you're sitting on 2, 3, 5 million, 10 million in cash that you can then do whatever you want with. Maybe you buy guns and ammo, maybe you buy yourself a bunker, maybe you buy yourself a little island somewhere and sit out the dystopian future, or maybe you just sit pretty going, everything Matt talked about didn't happen, but I got rich. Thanks for watching.